Greetings. Going to talk to you today about how I came to the carnivore diet. Well, I've been fighting a prostate cancer battle for about 5 years, and late in that battle, I found the carnivore diet. Wish I'd found it sooner because it could have helped a long time ago. I'll get into the details, but this is all going to be about how I have found the carnivore diet and what it's doing for me and what it would have done had I had the knowledge a little bit sooner during the cancer treatment. And it was the treatment that weakened me. It wasn't the actual cancer. I never felt sick or ill or any kind of pain from the cancer, but I felt lots of pain from the treatments and the let's just call it the reactions to the treatments that the medical establishment was having me go through. And I wanted to regain my normal hormones. Part of the cancer treatments that everybody goes through once once the cancer leaves the prostate is hormone therapy, and that is hell. I don't want to go through it again. I'd rather have chemotherapy. I don't want to ever have to have my hormones taken away again. The carnivore diet has been awesome at restoring my hormones, and I will talk a little bit about those later. I wanted to gain muscle and lose fat. I would watch over the last couple of years. I had to be on these shots for 18 months, and then they stick with you for a while. But I would just watch the muscle disappear inside the skin. I had just sagging skin with nothing underneath of it, and my legs, which had been rock hard my whole life, all of a sudden had a half-inch layer of fat around them. I couldn't believe all my muscle was just turning into fat. So I wanted to go back and turn into muscle. Getting up at 3 a.m. every morning, you have insomnia when you're on these hormones, taking the radiation treatments, you don't sleep right for a long time. I haven't in 2 years slept through the night, and I'll talk about some of the challenges with the problem with the hormones and hot flashes and sleep. Finally, I found the carnivore diet through YouTube. Dr. Barry Carey at Homestead How, Dr. Chafee, and Dave Mack, YouTube's hottest no-carb life channel. So where did it all start? I had prostate cancer. I was diagnosed with it in 2019. But at the time, just like most men, you really probably don't understand what your prostate is or where it is. And if you can just think of a balloon tied to a straw and there's a knot holding all that air in, keeping it from leaking out of the straw, that knot is your prostate. And women don't have that knot. And men who have had radical prostatectomy don't have that knot. We have the balloon or the bladder, and we have the straw. And how do we keep our urine from coming out of the bladder? We fold the straw, or we bend the straw. That's how men and women do it, men with prostate removed, and how women have done it since they were designed. So it's a challenge, and that's kind of what got me into the first part of recovery. Then during the pandemic, I was told don't come into the hospital because they didn't have room to check up on people who were dying from real diseases. So I didn't get to go in. And 8 months went by, and we found out that my PSA was rising again. And that meant that I had some sort of tumor somewhere. And the original surgeon said, oh, okay, you're just going to have to take hormone shots for the rest of your life. And I said, bullshit, I'm not going to do that. I knew it was bad to get into, but I hadn't experienced it yet. I just knew that I didn't want to do it my entire life. So I got a second opinion, found out that I could have a PSMA PET scan, and that's prostate-specific membrane antigen. So they inject a radioisotope before you get the PET scan, and that radioisotope only attaches to prostate cancer cells. It's phenomenal, okay? Why we're not giving it to everybody when they first have a high PSA, it's just because of cost. But I had to fight with the insurance companies, fight with the first doctor, finally got, an oncologist who understood how to ask for the test and order it and got it, got me signed up. We found 2 lymph nodes, common iliac lymph nodes. They were local. They weren't distant. We were able to incorporate those lymph nodes in the salvage radiation plan, which is used to basically go in and mop up when the doctor didn't get everything from surgery and has left the prostate bed potentially affected with the cancer. So we have salvage radiation, but many times in the old days, they would just radiate the pelvic bed and nowhere else, and didn't realize that they were just missing the tumor. So in my case, they were very certain that they got the tumors that were giving me that PSA. So I was borderline whether I needed to take the shots or not. But because I didn't have a real doctor who understood everything about prostate cancer, I was kind of going at it alone, and I decided I'll go ahead and get the shot. In fact, I did the research. It said that men who had 6 months of Lupron lived longer than men who didn't have the shot. Now, this was before PSMA PET scans. So the research, is difficult to really compare apples to apples. So yeah, the people who had salvage radiation may have been missing their tumors, but with a PSMA PET scan, you're not going to miss it. So anyway, you hopefully not going to miss it. It can miss certain tumors that are very small, but let me say that mine were very small, like 4 millimeters, and they found them. So the PSA went down. I opted for the Lupron treatment as just belts and suspenders because I'm a risk engineer and that's what we do. So that's the journey I started on. I had 8 weeks of radiation. There were carnivore opportunities during that period. Let me tell you that right now, and I'll explain what they were. And then I had 18 months of hormone treatment plus another 18 months. You know, when you get these shots, they tell you you're going to get the shots for 18 months. And then about month 16, you're saying, yes, I'm going to be through with this crap. I'll finally be able to sleep. I won't have any more hot flashes. And you call the hotline, Prostate Cancer Research Institute. How can I help you? And they say, oh, you've been on the Lupron for 18 months. Guess what? It's going to take 18 months for you to get back to normal. And then that word normal comes in. And I start looking to see, well, what's it take for a man's testosterone to recover after 18 months of Lupron? Guess what? After 6 months of Lupron, the chance of it coming back there's a possibility. After 18 months, anything after 6 months, the possibility is reduced by 400%. So I had really very little hope of getting my testosterone back, and I was kind of desperate at that point because the low was so low I couldn't stand it. You don't want to have that. So what can the carnivore diet do for cancer treatment? And specifically, you know, my experiences of cancer treatment, not everybody's going to have this, but just in order to get biopsied, I had to take an antibiotic, which was Levaquin. Took it 5 days, 5 different pills, 5 days. 2 weeks later, I had intense joint pain all over my body. And now this was after surgery. So I was trying to recover from surgery at the same time I was having the reaction to the Levaquin. And it turns out that there's a black box warning about combining Levaquin and prednisone, which is what this doctor's office did for me. And the FDA says never do that. I found out during my course of treatment that the Oklahoma City Ballet and the Oklahoma City Thunder basketball players, they're not allowed to take Levaquin because it could be career ending for professional athletes. Well, I'm an engineer, right? And I guess they don't worry as much about engineers as they do dancers and basketball players. But it was so bad that just walking caused more injuries. I couldn't even exercise. I'd go out for a walk. I'd come back with a sprained ankle or a sprained knee. I'd get up to get out of the chair, and just putting my weight on my hands would sprain my thumb. So I would not be able to unzip or unbuckle my pants for weeks because I got up out of the chair. And this went on for 8 months. That was while I was trying to recover with the catheter and everything else that goes along with getting your prostate pulled out. Not a great time. How would carnivore have helped? It would have strengthened my joints. How do I know? They're getting strong now, really strong. I'm so surprised, stronger than my entire life. All right, what else? During the radiation treatment, you can't have gas in your rectum because that puts the rectum too close and too tight to the prostate where we're trying to irradiate. And we don't want to accidentally irradiate healthy tissue. So they tell you, do not eat a diet that has fiber in it because that causes gas. So for 8 weeks, my keto diet was out the window. I had to get off of all the fiber, and I had to find out how to have food that wasn't going to give me gas. If I'd have known about carnivore, it would have been a dream. It would have been fantastic if I'd had carnivore back then. Because you don't like the way they have to vent the gas on the radiation table. It doesn't hurt, but it's just a little bit embarrassing. They put a tube in, and out comes the gas. So then they can do radiation treatment. The other thing that happens is your blood gets anemic and you lose your red blood cells, white blood cells start getting crazy, hemoglobin's crazy. I was very fatigued for much of the last couple of years. I know that the red meat that I eat has boosted all of my blood. I haven't gotten a blood test that would confirm that since I started this diet. I have gotten one that's confirmed my testosterone and my PSA, so we'll talk about those in a little bit. Alrighty. During Lupron treatment, it's androgen deprivation therapy, hormone treatment, and the goal is not to kill the cancer. It's just to put it to sleep. So when I found that out, I was a little bit frustrated. I'd rather have just jumped straight into chemo. It's interesting that when men have prostate cancer, they have to fail every form of treatment one at a time before they can get the next form of treatment. Any other kind of cancer, you get chemo, radiation, all at the same time. And if they do hormones, maybe. But hormones really aren't used for the other kind of cancers that I was looking at. But this was terrible. Okay, the hot flashes were the worst. They're still going on. And this is even after 4 months of carnivore and almost normal testosterone back. The anemia, I'm pretty sure that's better. I can just feel better. And the no sleep, I still wake up 2 or 3 times a night just from the hot flashes. But one of the emotional shocks that I had was how often I would cry. I'm a caring person. Before hormones, I would watch movies with my wife, and I'd cry at a Hallmark movie just out of normal, getting into it and watching. I know everybody's saying they're all the same, and it's going to happen. Of course they are, but that was the only time I would cry. Okay, during the hormone treatments with the Lupron, I would be at a professional golf tournament on the side of the fairway, just sitting there in a chair, nobody around, no trigger, no reason to cry, crying for hours. I would wake up at 3 in the morning and cry until till Kristen woke up at 5 or 6 or 7. Anyway, if I'd have had something that was lessening the intensity of that crash of hormones, then I might have been able to survive it better. I do feel like if I felt this way during that time period, I would have no problem doing it again. Now, I've been a carnivore since New Year's Eve in 2023, or pretty much just over 4 months now. But when we're recording this, all joint pain is gone everywhere. I mean, I had pain that I couldn't move. Even before the Levaquin, I just had arthritis in my neck and spine just from years and years of eating inflammatory foods, basically. All the joint pain's gone. The neck and back pain are gone. I have great flexibility. I exercise now. I work out. I lift weights. The sugar cravings are gone. That was another thing that I tried keto for many years, and it was like always being addicted, just having a little bit of sugar. 20 milligrams of cocaine every day is okay. No, it probably wasn't. So eat your carbs, eat how many you want. But for me, I found that I do better not eating them. I do much better just eating meat till I'm full and enjoying life, being healthy and feeling good. Okay, I don't need the sugar to feel good. Element's got the stevia in it, and if you need help getting through that first stretch of breaking that sweetness addiction, the stevia is something that's natural. It's not an artificial sweetener, and it doesn't spike your blood sugar. You have to be careful. Some people, their body, just from tasting something sweet, will say, hey, insulin, start producing, because you're going to get something sweet. So you got to watch out for that. You can't just assume that it doesn't cause an insulin reaction if it's sweet, because it could. Can't take credit for that body just quite yet, but I've lost about 20-something pounds in the last few months, and I am adding muscle. Last year during Lupron, I could not do a single push-up. I could not get my chest off the ground. This year, after a couple of months on carnivore, I thought, well, what happens? Let me just jump on the floor and see what happens. Let me see if I can do one. I could do 10. I did 10 push-ups like I was in high school. So it was incredible. And I've done more since then. I'm working out, doing sit-ups, lifting weights, and just feel so much better. Clothes fitting better. The pants are a lot looser, and the shirts are a little bit tighter. That's what I wanted. Yeah, last year I couldn't do a push-up, and now I'm up to 15 and rising. Sleep's getting better. I think I'm to the point now where I'll have the hot flash. It wakes me up, but I don't have to get up out of bed and go pee. It doesn't get me completely woken up, so it's getting a little bit better. And I'll just keep at it. This may be one of those things that just has to get balanced out at the end with the hormone ratio, with the estrogen and testosterone, which my body is definitely recovering. Starting to feel pimples and all that kind of stuff. I don't cry anymore. I used to get so mad and so frustrated the last couple of years at the smallest things. Anything would trigger me. Everybody around me was on eggshells. I hope they're going to come off the eggshells. I hope I can make up for how I acted in the last couple of years. But it's been great getting that emotional recovery. The hot flashes are fading. Let me tell you, this picture does no justice to what a hot flash is for a man who's had a Lupron treatment. It's full body sweat. Everything that is on you is soaking wet, and it's several times a night. The weird thing is it only happens at night. It doesn't normally happen during the day for me. And once I lay down, boom, I'm going to get a hot flash, and then I'll sweat, and then I'll realize, okay, I'm going to get a couple of hours of rest. And so I start sneaking these 2-hour naps in between the hot flashes. That's what I've been doing for the last couple of years. Can't wait for this shit to stop. Let me say this. Back in December, first week of December, before I started Carnivore, I had a virus, some sort of cold. I didn't get tested because the name didn't matter. I had the symptoms. I shouldn't be out in the world. Don't travel. Wait till it gets over with. There was no medicine or treatment that would change based on any test. So I coughed and coughed for a couple of weeks, took some at-home remedies. And what was really strange, this virus, I lost all sense of taste and smell. And my hot flashes stopped. I'm not kidding. For 2 weeks, they stopped. After 4 days, I texted my doctor, my new urologist oncologist, and I said, hey, the hot flashes have stopped. The hormones must be coming back. And, they said, that's great, and we'll see you at your appointment. Well, 10 more days go by, and the cold resolves, and the hot flashes came back, and I still have them now, 4 or 5 months since then. And they're not as bad as they were while I was getting the shots, and I guess they're fading away, but there's something connected between having a virus, the human body, turned off those hot flashes, and if you really smart doctors can figure out with CRISPR or one of those gene splicing tools how to attach whatever's going on there and cure the hot flashes for men, you cure it for women, we're going to have something way more valuable than Viagra, promise you. Now, there are a lot of folks that are concerned about prostate cancer and testosterone. And there's a lot of research out there that shows that if you go on Lupron, that you live longer. The problem is the original research that was done to determine if your testosterone will go down and your prostate, and you would have a longer survival. That study started with 3 men. One of them dropped out. One of them died of another cause, and one of them finished the test. And that's the one they based all the rest of this treatment on. And there's been some more research later that's found out that, low levels of testosterone, it's kind of hard to tell if it's helping or hurting, but definitely when you take it away, the PSA goes down. They know that. What they've also found is that there's a therapy called bipolar androgen therapy. So 3 months of Lupron, 3 months of testosterone, vice versa, back and forth until you're resolved. Well, that's something that my previous urologist wouldn't go for. He didn't even know what it was, had never heard of it. And it doesn't surprise me. Most urologists are not there to treat you or to treat your cancer. So get second opinions, get opinions from cancer doctors, not just the urologists. They're just surgeons. They want to cut it out. Don't let them do it. I wish I had my back. But what PSMA does is it gives you that safety net that should that prostate cancer spread. Now, remember, my prostate's gone, so the only way mine can spread is through that lymph node system now, or however else it got out when the doctor didn't do everything he should have when he cut it out, or maybe he did, and this is just what happens. But the the prostate cancer is still there. So if I do have the PSA come back, then I know that we can find the tumors with a PSMA PET scan and that we can irradiate them. That's something else that my previous doctor said. He said, we're not going to give you a PSMA PET scan if your PSA starts to rise again. I said, the hell you're not. That's exactly what we're going to do. And he said, no, there's no reason to do that because it doesn't change the treatment. I said, I'll have radiation. He says, you can't have any more radiation because you already had it. I said, I haven't had it in my ribs. I haven't had it in my lungs. I haven't had it in my bones where prostate cancer metastasizes to. He just had no clue. Then he says, oh, yeah, you're right. So then he realized that if my PSA rises above, he said, if it goes over 2.0, and I said, yelled at him. I said, if it goes over 0.2, we're going to go get a PSMA PET scan. He just, believe me, you gotta question your urologists. They're not experts in cancer. PSMA PET scans are there to help you find the tiniest little tumors. I wish we could get them as soon as they diagnosed people with prostate cancer. Unfortunately, like I said before, you have to fail everything before you can even qualify to get a scan like this. So be careful. The mainstream urologists are afraid of the testosterone and they're going to push back on any of that. Just realize that there's also research out there that shows that testosterone can be protective. High levels of testosterone can be protective against prostate cancer. So let's just look at the research. Make sure you vet it and then be your own judge. So I have another blood test in July. If my PSA starts to rise, I'll rethink things. But honestly, I don't see a reason to switch from Carnivore because it's what's going to protect my heart. If I have to have another zap of radiation or another round of radiation, I'll do it. But the way that I was, quote unquote, living for the past 2 years under that hormone treatment is not living, and I'd rather die. In 2023, I did have a great year after I finished the hormone treatments. I was working kind of like during those hormone treatments to find ways to enjoy life. And Kristen and I went out to several of the Live Golf Pro-Ams, and I got to caddy in 5 of them last year, 1 of them already this year. Got another one scheduled and maybe a couple more this year. But that's been awesome, carrying a bag for an amateur and helping them have the time of their lives. They're getting to walk with professionals that you only see on TV. And, I had that enjoyment many times last year. I also won my flight or my division of the Red River Am Golf Tour. So I was proud of that. And, fighting through all the crap, I still want to love life and have fun. I started scuba diving again through a different set of circumstances. I went and got certified. I'm going to dive in a vacation coming up. So I'm really looking forward to this the rest of my life. I want to continue to live it at the fullest. And the only way I see doing that is on a carnivore diet. I tried the plant crap and it didn't work. I was sore all the time. I hurt. And I'd just much rather be strong and healthy and feel good. So for me, it's going to be carnivore. And my other hobby is growing YouTube's hottest energy risk engineering channel. So if you ever get a chance to check me out over there, it's Energy Risk Engineering Lessons on YouTube. Let's go have a steak. Thank y'all.